Hello and welcome. Today, I'll be continuing what I was doing yesterday and doing my best to beat Malenia, which I got pretty close yesterday. I got that first phase, like a fairly stable first phase strat with this exact setup, so it shouldn't be too bad. But while I fight Malenia, obviously, part of my primary goal here is to, practice speaking. I'll talk initially. Oh well. It's good to know that jumping attack there can't even hit, which is kind of a pain, but yeah, what I'm going to talk about will be mostly Elden Ring related, I think, just because it's easier, but I'll start by talking about how I've started rereading Gardens of the Moon, which is the first book in the Malvin Book of the Fallen, which is the only consistent book series that I've talked about, and just even getting through the first part of the story, it did a great job reminding me of how the future of the story, even without stuff that is explicitly referenced later, it has sparked many memories of the plot points that are brought forward later in later books. Again, I give up. Oh, just bad luck. And also bad playing, but anyway, because just reading the first couple 150, 200 pages, well, I think I'm at about 150, even just that much, it reminded me very clearly about how it is a series that, while it has an overarching plot that's very important, it does place a great emphasis on the small losses, and in this context, small losses caused by, war and fights and such, and how not even if no one knows the characters' names, it still can be very impactful, because even within oh, that lock on. But even if a character doesn't have a name, and they're just briefly talked about, it does a great job of making you, to an extent, care that they die. And the story as a whole is just a part of a bigger world, bigger story. Like, many of the key things that are at play are things that in the story took place in the distant past, or even just in the past several decades. It's very interesting how I'm sick of this. If I got not waterfowl dance, which it should have staggered soon, and then it would have been that stagger that, and it would have been most of the fight, but most of the phase. But anywho, back to how the way that it is told. There's plenty of stuff in the past of the world that if the author chose to, they could probably attempt to write all that as a story, and maybe they might at some point, but like, as it stands, it's just simply, that's just something that's happened in the past of this world, and going into excessive detail is unnecessary because you can get a sufficient understanding simply by, you know, reading the impacts it has on the world in the current time zone. And it's still no stagger.
Blade of Nicola.
But anyway. But back to the way the story told, another element is that it's sort of the point at which the story starts is already well past any hypothetical ideal world. Like, it's a realistic world in that there probably was never some ideal moment in its history, but it still maintains sort of a great degree of the gradual sort of decay of anything, and it's all, oh god. And why did she do it here? That's frustrating. But what is done is the entire story. It both tells of how the world has progressed and how, as a whole, many different people, countries, empires are all crumbling, have crumbled in the past. And it's just sort of how it goes. It doesn't... The story's not told as the making of a brand new, idealized empire. It is very heavily about the collapse. Not total collapse, but the crumbling that occurs due to the general tilted. But the whole story is frequently goes into sort of stuff falling from grace and declining because one sort of an example that is somewhat spoilery is how one of the peoples of this world who are currently in the plot, like in the timeline of the books, they are immortal, but they are not in a great state. They're practically skeletons who are kept as such basically because of a grudge in the distant past. And an element of that grudge, well, an element of those people is how in the distant past there was a clear element of them overhunting as they became more, as they grew in population, became more competent, and to an extent this people who are sort of, they are they're practically pre-human, like pre-human species. That's sort of the position they occupy. But they stuck around in a less than natural form, but they were hunter-gatherers they had a population increased, and it led to overhunting of their primary food, which, caused strife, which led to war and fighting and not staggering at all. Frustrating. Oh, staggering might be the correct term. But it is still frustrating. But yeah, it tells a story of how, well, I think it was on the range of hundreds of thousands of years, these people made their mistakes, and a side effect of that was just strife, which in turn led to them struggling and making poor choices, but they're not perfect, which it is then not in the same way, but it is repeated again with the current, generation of peoples where they're very set in their goals and their methods, and it causes them, struggle with their issues. I'm gonna die. I hate that attack because it doesn't charge nearly far enough. But now... Oh, I hate this. Oh, that last hit is tilted because... And I'm stuck on a chair. I'm stuck on a tree. Ugh. That was not a good second. Well, it was a pretty good second phase until I panic rolled and failed to dodge that one stab that did 80% of my health. That's whatever, live and learn, except not live. 3. Okay, I've never actually been hit by that particular swing. The fact that it just knocked me over was kind of weird. But now, yes, to the sort of decline that the book discusses, I believe it does. It's sort of, I guess you could say, entropy being a key point. I tried to roll, but I can't roll because I have to slide first. Let's figure out. possible to roll out of a sprint and roll in the other direction. Nope. Not possible. Interesting. I wonder if there's like a... Yeah, that's slow. Which is kind of frustrating. Anywho, yeah, the series in a way is all about just a gradual decay, just due to, you know, to keep things in a perfect state, it would require far more success than failure, and for example, within the Empire, when you need everyone in power to be well-intentioned for the purposes of the Empire, the moment there is anyone in a major position who... Oh, that didn't stagger her the same way. Yep.
Blade of Nicola.
But yeah, it's a very effective way of having a story that is, when examined from a further, like, from the grand scheme of it, having a story be quite bleak, because even when the story that has been written down till now came to its end, there was no solution, there was no moment of epiphany that solved all the struggles. It ended simply with people being in their own state of living. They were not... Oh, Rudy. Bolting. Yeah, it should be. That was closer than I would like, but... Nope, that would be greedy if I tried to go for the weapon art. Okay, good to know. That was a little questionable. Iffy. Greedy. I'm gonna die. Nope, I'm not. Good. That was very cool. Oh, my least favorite attack. Okay, I didn't die. Okay, that was just a bad direction to roll in. Okay, that was just a bad jump. Greedy. I'm gonna die.
Let your flesh be consumed
Ugh.
by the scarlet rot.
Not gonna go well. But hey, it's all gotten better overall. I can get to phase 2, not consistently, but more than I did a few days ago. But anyway, I hate when she chains that. Oh, wrong button. But I talk more. Ugh. Okay, stop. I hate that attack.
Blade of Mikola.
But anyway, back just while I'm doing this, it's a fairly killing series. I'm not very good at staying on a topic because I jump around far too much. That's something I need to improve when I'm just talking for extended periods of time. But God. Definitely not an exceptional fight, but overall, Malenia's an okay fight. Okay. Okay, this should be phase 1, or most of it, basically. Agreed? Okay. I think I just need one more jump attack. Shoot! Good. She's dead. It's interesting that that doesn't phase her. She should have gone to the next phase sooner there. Thank you for that. It's not a big deal. Okay, I didn't die. That's good. That's greedy. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, that's a bad heal. I feel like if I can get... Okay, this is not good. Okay. Okay, and then I forget that she does that as a follow-up. Reed. I need to get over here because if I have to run, I'll die. Okay, I can't be her if I'm locked on there. It's good to know that I can. Hey, it's good to know that if you get hit by the first hit, you literally can't roll out of the second. Good lesson. But, you know, learn. Like, until I get chained by 2 waterfowl dances in a row, I'm not gonna get too tilted. But it's still going. But I guess while I play this, I can think about other stuff that just would talk. One thing that's been interesting recently is how Total War Warhammer 3 has finally announced their Chaos Dwarf DLC, which apparently kind of pricing is a little iffy, but and I'm gonna die. And I die. Yeah, that's something that I might look forward to, because as much as I'm not super good at that type of game, it's still fun, basically for purposes of seeing cool monsters fight each other. It's a fun game. It can be frustrating, even if you're bad, like me, but it's a fun enough game, though. Warhammer 3 has definitely had its issues. And I die. Okay, lucky. I pressed roll and I didn't roll. That is the type of stuff that tilts me. And buffering on drinking flasks is also tilting. I'm bad at dodging that one, but that's just me being bad, so I don't actually tilt from that. I'm just gonna let myself die. But yeah, what a fight. Yeah, something I also definitely should work on is having something potentially interesting to talk about instead of just grasping for different topics at all times. Which admittedly, it's not the most important skill, but since I personally, whenever I like podcast, YouTube, most of it, I lean towards unscripted stuff, because most of the time when consuming media, if it's scripted and it's obviously scripted, when it doesn't feel natural, that's when it becomes very unappealing to watch or listen to. Okay, I didn't have a chance to roll at the end there, which just felt odd, but like examples of, like, I think the only thing off the top of my head in terms of, oh my god, in terms of scripted content that isn't purely informational. Well, it is informational. I guess anything that's purely aiming for information and not entertainment, scripting it is rarely an issue. Like, in terms of podcasts, there's one, like, BBC podcast called, I think the current version is Under the Influence, and it is definitely a scripted podcast, but it's purely, well, it does have entertainment elements, but it's not a, it's meant as, informative plus entertainment, and not primarily as entertainment, which it is entertainment, but like in the same way a documentary can be entertainment. That was lucky. Whereas there are some podcasts that I haven't really listened to much of because even just the starting bugged me a great deal. Like there was, a scripted, I think it was either sci-fi or fantasy related thing that my brother played when we were in the car for an extended drive. It very much did not appeal to me because it felt exceptionally scripted, but also not. It also wasn't. It attempted to be scripted, and the content was not. Hi, that's bugging me because I didn't get where the content was scripted, but not in a way that felt positive. Like an example of, as an example, or like those sorts of story type podcasts, for the few that I've listened to, I much prefer when it is sort of, I guess, when it qualifies as sort of an actual play type of podcast, because everything has a greater potential of being organic, which in stories like that, I guess thinking about it, what it really comes down to me might be that if I want something that is heavily scripted or structured, I would rather have something that where the medium being used actually... Okay, that took so long to recover from. The medium makes use of having that prep time. Because if it's simply spoken word, then it doesn't require as much pre-production to make it consumable. Like, for any podcast, they could, obviously planning, but it is possible for a podcast to simply... Okay, I got one shot by that because I tried to be too centered. Also lagged for some reason. But what a podcast can hypothetically just be a group of people talking into a microphone. It doesn't require extensive animating or video recording, like recording of videos, scripting movement. It has much more potential for sudden... I feel like it makes it easier for improv when all that's being improved is what is being spoken. Which, the realization that I had, that I totally didn't get to when I mentioned it, is sort of how if I want a structured, thought out story, I would much prefer, and I don't want a visual component. I personally would much rather just read a book or hypothetically listen to an audiobook, because the formatting of a book from a narrative podcast is going to be very different. Okay, reach. And it's like, if I want something that doesn't have key visual components, a book would be preferable. And if I am more interested in, you know, visuals, like, then there's any number of TV, like live action television, animated cartoons, anime. There's probably other categories of those types of things, but it makes it so that, for me, narratively planned out and heavily structured podcasts just sort of are the worst of everything, because there's less improvisation than if it wasn't, you know, structured and planned out. And there's none of the other positives of those other potential mediums for these narrative things. And these narrative heavy things require, like, you can't be improvisational with a book because you spend time writing it, publishing it, and there's no chance for improv. And TV, it's the same. There is improv TV, but from a story-based thing, there's very minor improvisational opportunity. There's plenty of stories about how sudden improv is kept, but there's less. You can't broadly shift how a story is going purely on one minor decision. It's all planned out, and so that it's less realistic when you have all the, you know, studio requirements. But what it gets back to is why I personally, part of why my attempts at streaming are all very poorly planned, is because to me there's very little purpose in super scripted content that isn't informational. And now, admittedly, my goal is to talk about books that I enjoy, which could be, you know, researched and scripted, so it doesn't need to be off the cuff, but it's also a habit that I have. Even in all school presentations forever, I never want to look at a script and follow it word for word. I didn't die. I didn't die. That was so lucky. It's a weird kick. Okay, that's that one, but it's hard to tell with some of these leaps into the air. Okay, that was greedy. I hate this attack, but I think if I just run away, I'm gonna die because, oh, I was so lucky that I was out of range. Okay, I need to not fall for that every time. I missed. She recovers very quickly from that. And I'm gonna die. Because waterfowl down.
By the scarlet rot.
But yeah, that's why. But back to what I was attempting to talk about with scripting and just unscripted methods. What I find is most appealing about something that is unscripted but well planned, probably, is that it doesn't risk of feeling sort of forced. Like, one example of a YouTube creator group that I've seen occasionally, and they're fairly well known, like Good Mythical Morning. Personally, I have to, there's plenty of parts of things that they do that are just, that bug me personally, like attempting to have bit when, like, oh, this person's bringing up food, they play this character, and that personally doesn't appeal to me. It presumably appeals to their viewers, so that's that great. But because it's, but it is a good way of introducing what I think can be an issue with scripted stuff. It attempts, well, it doesn't attempt very hard probably, but like, it sort of comes off as if it's attempting to be natural, but it's all, instead to me it always comes off very scripted, which might not be the best way of, okay. Okay, tilted.
Blade of Miquella.
But sort of separate from that, what I've watched recently that is definitely very scripted, but it's also fairly, but the way they present it is still natural. They have little interjections that seem natural. They might be wholly scripted, but Tom Scott, who just does fairly short informational videos, does a good job of keeping it so that it doesn't just feel like he's reading a script that he memorized, and that it serves, I mean, I've seen videos that they themselves posted about how, where he talks about how having a human, like, relatable connection is, you know, valuable. Which, with sort of, video in particular was talking about, like, showing clapping hands for syncing audio, but it applies to the rest. Where once something becomes less natural, it's less appealing sometimes. Obviously, it's all, everything is preferences. Like, personally, I don't think my rambling would be entertaining, and maybe it isn't, but it's an interesting, that was a long combo. But it is still a case of, first and foremost, I'm trying to just speak more, because there was, at my previous job, where I was working, I had to sort of explain something to someone, and for like an hour or two, it was talking with them. But even like after an hour and a half of talking, not even non-stop, my throat was very dry or sore because I don't talk enough. So since that's what I'm trying to, part of what I'm trying to improve upon, as long as there's no, interaction, because obviously there's none if nobody watches, I'll basically just be rambling, and I don't believe that would be especially entertaining, but yes, I hate that I hit her there. She's at 0 HP, but it still treats it as though she's, not dead. Okay, I guess what I can talk about briefly is how is my personal methodology for these types of games, because which recognize what part of it is like, and there, and she didn't get far enough. Seems like it is just run away from that, and you're pretty safe. Oh yeah, but that one. And she recovers from that very quickly. But when I play these types of games, I never like playing safe beyond a certain extent. Add attack. Oh, it didn't even go off. Please, good. Okay, nope, I didn't know she could combo that. Okay, I need to run. Attack, 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 stab, dodge. Okay. I need to not be against the wall, otherwise if she waterfowls, I die. Okay, bad roll. I need to, but greedy. It didn't work last time, and it didn't work this time either. So, like, see there, I'm just aggressive, and that's sort of how I prefer to play these types of games. Dead? Okay, not dead. I'm gonna get hit here. Okay, no, didn't. Lucky. But like, well, I'm probably gonna try to play relatively safe, only attack on that in this phase, but actually want to clear this fight soon enough. Okay, I'm gonna die again. That's good damage. Hey, this is good RNG actually. But I'm gonna die because I should have maybe delayed that roll, maybe I would have been fine, but I messed up. But generally, if I only wait for safe moments, it's not as appealing, it's too passive. Like, I'll die a lot more, but I won't spend a ton of time dodging. Cause like, realistically, I feel like this is a poor choice because I get hit. Like, the only time, there's only like a few attacks where you should be that aggressive and attack. Like here, re-attack. But only waiting for those to open. That was very bad, but only waiting for those openings to me is kind of boring. But it's also just a preference. Like, for me, there's no appeal in shield for these type for Dark Souls and Elden Ring games. I do recognize that I probably at some point should learn the basics of parrying, because that is sort of it. You know, it can use shields. It doesn't always. I think there's like parrying daggers in at least some of the games, but parrying is relatively high risk, high reward, as opposed to, for me, shield blocking, which is kind of playing it safer-ish, because it's not totally safe, obviously, but it's playing it safer with at the expense of damage, except for in Elden Ring, because there's a some sort of shield, like you block and then you get an extra damage attack right afterwards, but I haven't tried that because I'm gonna die. Because I was too close, and I don't know how to dodge it when I'm close consistently. I don't know how to consistently dodge it when I am close. But yeah, just my stance on this. It's also why I don't feel negative about opting to have the Pradagon Door Seal to make me take extra damage, because well, that's mostly because I don't want to go respec to get like 5 more decks or whatever. But it's sort of, a lot of bosses feel like, with this one's sort of an exception because it's a long boss and they heal, but I feel that if bosses can't like 3-shot you, then it's a little bit, it feels a little too safe, because all you have to do is avoid getting hit for long enough to heal and you're fine. So it can render fights too easy. It makes it so that they feel too easy because I'm not punished aggressively enough. And it's also like my personal reason that I've only used summons once on my previous playthrough because of the one, I think it's a Black Knife Assassin that is invisible, which to me is just not a very interesting fight. This playthrough, I beat it because I was over leveled when I got to it, but my previous playthrough, it was not a fun attempt trying to fight it without that. That's wild that just roll into her is safer for some reason instead of trying to roll behind her. That was a risky roll. It was a little early. See, like, here's where you shouldn't be aggressive. Like, going for an attack there was a poor choice. That was lucky. That was a poor choice, relatively. Maybe I should run to the right. I'm gonna die. Run away. Because it was greedy. That was a waste of a flask, but I'll die before I use the flasks anyway, probably. I hate when she just walks and doesn't do anything like that. Okay, I'm gonna die. Yep. Because I got greedy, and that's the issue why I shouldn't be that aggressive in the second phase specifically, because there's a lot more punishes. But but I need to focus on beach. If I think about it more and think of something actually worth talking about, it will be better than just basically talking to myself. But it's difficult. Although, actually one thing that I'm thinking about is just bosses. I haven't gotten to what I think it's Mog is the actual name of the actual. I've pushed the button, but hey. Like the actual Mog fight is very. I actually really think the whole second phase blood bleeding component is a little iffy. This is my first playthrough. I never found the cracked spears, whatever they're called, that is you're supposed to use to not just die to that phase, so I couldn't get past that because it just... I pressed roll, but I guess it was like a quarter of a second too slow. Yeah. Yeah, that fight, I think, is of the fights that I've attempted, like, this fight, I think, is still technically fair. I don't like waterfowl dance, but that's just because I do not have a consistent way to dodge it, and there are apparently ways to consistently dodge it even if you're up close. That part I recognize is on me, but that Mog fight, the whole extreme bleed constantly after he gets to half health, is a bad play. I think a poor like attack to give to a boss if you're not practically guaranteed to have found I mean, the fact that it's actually best to just sort of roll directly into her for that second attack is kind of weird, but it feels like it's consistent. That was weird. I'm gonna die. Okay, I want one, because if I knock her over, and I can get a good Taker's Flame. That was weird that only one sword properly hit there. I'm gonna die. Okay. Okay, good. Maybe if I run right, but for now I won't. That attack is just weird. Ugh. Greedy every time. I need to remember that that is not anywhere near guaranteed, and I shouldn't try it. Oh, it's so slow. I messed up on that second hit, but that first hit is so much slower than I expected it to be. Because she basically touches down, then swings, instead of it being land as it swings. But yeah, got into second phase significantly more. even with still getting waterfowl in, which is progress. This is not gonna be great. I got it a little lower first, it would have been better. Gotta get it away. Gotta maintain a safe distance so that when she does this... I hate that part of the attack. Lock on when I tell you to. But yeah. Progress. Okay, like when she just sort of stands there, it's so frustrating. Now, it could be a coincidence, but it always feels like if I jump sort of at the limit of where my jump attack will reach her, it seems like she's less likely to react to it. I'm gonna save booty, but yeah, I just need to get that. That's all I needed. I honestly don't know if my singular wing is better or not. But now I am ready to... Okay. Oh yeah, nope. Okay, that's fine though, I didn't get hit. It's a decent feeling fight. I wish it didn't feel like I had to rely on these daggers and such, but okay, I need to get to a position where I can retreat. Greedy. Okay, good. Okay. Not safe, yes. I'm glad I remembered that well enough. Okay. I pressed dodge, but it didn't press all the way. That was my error. Ooh. I've gotten a better idea of what that attack is. That's positive. But it's progress. But I guess I can... There's very little to focus on. Okay. The biggest issue for me with this build, or how I'm fighting Malenia, is it feels very luck, RNG dependent, just sort of dictated by, since I rolled through her I got hit instead of standing right beside her. That's part of the issue with that attack. It bugs me. Yeah. Ooh. Godric? Or is it Godwin? Whatever. Haven't actually no, I guess I fought the gold shade of him. But, yeah. Interesting fight. Oh, what should I just decide to talk about now? I'm bad. Okay, good. Actually, I can go back to what I was trying in the middle of saying about the way I'm fighting her feeling like RNG, because it's also an issue I have with like bleed centric builds that aren't actually okay, builds that end up relying heavily on bleed that aren't actually built around applying bleed. I imagine like Rivers of Blood or whatever, that and the various other bleed-centric arcane weapons, those probably bleed more consistently, but the when it's all reliant on being able to apply status or, you know, breaking toys, I need to relock on. If it's all contingent on that, and breaking toys and such is directly influenced by how much you're able to attack. See, that's... Oh yeah, I got tilted again. Okay, bad play. I'm gonna die.
Let your flesh
Oh, bad combo.
the scarlet rot.
I need to remember that the swoop down and then stab is almost always followed with something else. And if it's followed with the downward smash, I can still get a hit. But it's still an interesting lesson, you know, progress. Okay, greedy. Greedy. Because, like, I should probably swap bad, of my FP flasks for HP, because I don't need 3 bars of FP. I'm gonna die because this attack is wild,
Malenia, blade of
and I'm bad. But that's obvious at this point. You know what? Oh, I keep forgetting that I've been meaning to use a greater rune on the second phase. I don't know if I'm gonna have time, but I should try. You know what, let's just... Rune Arc, that's what they're called. Let's just use one this run. Let's just see how it goes. I expect little, but hey. If I clear it in one go, then luck. Actually, I could take off the Source Seal if I actually was using Rune Arcs. Which also means that using a Rune Arc, I probably should take off the Source Seal. I think this greater rune gives all stats. Bad. I should have just walked further away. And I'm gonna die. Because I pressed the button, but I didn't sprint.
blade of
Tremendously frustrating. But that Rune Arc did make it seem like she took a sizable amount more damage because I dealt more. But I'll check this time if I can remove the Source Seal. Okay, let's just go status. Dex 15. It is 5. I think this is providing me with 5, right? Yes, I can swap it to, like, I could get strength. Probably not optimal. Equip load's useless. Stamina's not bad. More HP is probably useful. None of these are gonna be great, though. Non-physical damage negation. Oh, that's 600 health. Well, it's 130 health less, which I don't know if it's worth it or not. I know that there's... Actually, that might be useful. Okay, I'll start down here. Definitely not that. Useless, useless. These are useless here. Actually, that might be useful, but... Raise attack power. I'm constantly trying to heal. That might be worthwhile. Perfume, roar and breath, incantations, memory. I mean, that's probably not terrible, but I'm gonna go with this, see how it goes. But if it meaningfully increases my attack, it might be worth it because I'm constantly trying to keep myself at full HP anyway. So it might be worth it for the bits that I am, at full HP. It will also make the aggressive trading worse. Ooh, that's a lot more damage. But these attacks are significantly better. So as long as I dodge well and heal appropriately, that's bad. Okay, good. That's bad. But I'm still not hitting for meaningfully less than I was with the Sword Seal. So it's acceptable. She should stagger soon. There, that will get her down. And I'll heal up. Ah, not quite full. But not actually a huge issue. Ooh, you see, that's what's super effective. She was at 10 HP. She took way more damage than that, but... Okay, that was a bad roll. I'm gonna get hit again. She always does that, it seems, which is good to recognize. Bad attack. I'm gonna get hit, which is bad. That's such a weird looking attack. Okay, this is just run away. Which seems actually consistent. Bad. Okay. Okay, bad. Hate that attack. Come on, just do an attack that I can actually abuse. Okay. Stop dashing. Hey, that was faster than I thought it was. Why would she dash to the side there? I mean, from an actual logic perspective, it is good for her. Okay, got her at least a little, and I'm gonna die again. Okay. Frustrating. Waterfowl dance and I'm too close to run away. And then I get hit too many times. But, I mean, some progress. Considerations. What would happen if I swap this to the Dex? That's not much worse. Like, the stamina's fine, the equip load's fine. Well, the stamina's probably not great, but the equip load's fine. With this for now. I don't want to burn through all my rune arcs. Well, that's not bad. 15. I'll probably go burn through them all is my guess, so for now I'll try this at the more stable attempt. damage is still pretty good and better than with the floor seal. This definitely feels like it's gonna be better. And I'm glad. Hit her at least. Okay, why are you not sprinting? Dodge, dodge. Okay, good. The fact that doesn't kill is incredibly frustrating, that when standing up from that type of attack. Greedy. Greed. Luck. Okay. Okay, no, that one is not the one that gets followed up instantly. Okay, no, it is. Lucky that that didn't hit me. Oh, wow. Okay, run away. Okay, that is lucky. Okay, that... Okay. Okay, that was a bad choice, especially since... Okay. 3, 4, there, stab, stab. Okay, greedy, very bad. And it didn't roll.
Be consumed by the scarlet rot.
Ugh. Terrible play. Now let's distract myself with a different... talking about a book or a story. I guess one that I kind of could talk about is a book that I think it's a Western author who does a good job of capturing I guess there are probably plenty of authors that do it well, but it's sort of a Western book novel that I've been keeping up with. I don't even actually know what the proper title of the series is, but it is. I mean, the main character's name is Salvos. I'm gonna die. It's not the main character's name. The main character's name is Salvos. The book series might have a proper title, but it falls into, I guess, the genre of lit RPG, which I think is literary RPG. Yeah, it's just called Salvos. Or Salvos, I don't know. I assume it's Salvos because Salvos is kind of a terrible name for a person, though they aren't a person. But I find that this series does a good job of getting what I guess the primary goal of literary or literature, I think it's literary RPGs aim for, of having just, I don't want to die. The characters, all about the roleplay and RPG elements of the world that the characters inhabit. Ugh. That feels worse now that I've started using the full health extra damage. I didn't die. I didn't die, but close enough. I'd rather die and then restart instead of burn through all my blasts here. But the Salvos series of books that I think are basically self-published, but I don't know if there's actually physical books that exist. But it's ebooks, at least for my method of reading. It does a good job of capturing what makes those types of stories fun, while not it leans heavily into tropes, but it doesn't, but because of how the character is written, like they're a demon and all that, and there's plenty of books that, or light novels particularly, that do this, tilted beyond belief, that have like, oh, the main character's a demon, but often these characters explicitly become, you know, goody two-shoes. They don't maintain, they become basically just, for all intents and purposes, they're just a human who is just not biologically human, which is fine, whatever. But this series, and another that I think got a light novel, a Japanese light novel that I think got abandoned, or at least translations by fans got abandoned. I think the actual thing might have got abandoned too, but it does a good job of keeping the character sort of, their mind is kind of alien. It's not just another person. Like, they don't become, they're not, I mean, they're not totally good, but for all intents and purposes, they do sort of perform the roles of a good character. They're not a terrible person, but it is at least well enough justified for me to have all the reasons the character does good is those around her. The character is purely self-centered, which fits as like a, you know, the demon type of character. Like, them being self-centered as sort of their driving entity. That's what they are all about. They're prideful. And that doesn't change much up until where I am now in the series, which is, I think book 10 is going to release in a couple months. So the first 9, they maintain that pride, and part of that pride does lead to them doing, you know, good things, but that sort of, they care for themselves, and because they care for themselves, there are others who they care about, because, well, that slide when I can't roll backwards. But because of that justification, it ends up not feeling hypocritical, or it doesn't run counter to their established character as a demon when they help people. And the emphasis on pride works well as an additional, like, driving force of them not wanting to just kill people. Like, I think they sort of discuss how, oh, pride in not requiring other people, but it being a very clear positive of they want people to recognize them. I hate that she can turn 180 in that, so if you get to the other side, she just spins around and hits you. but her pride being what keeps her in check is appealing. And up until where the story is now, it didn't pull a fairly common, oh, everyone finds out they're actually a demon by like book 3. It took a long time to get to that point, which makes it so that it is not purely a plot hook that is used to draw in readers and then abandoned. Like, one very particular example of a Japanese light novel that does that is there's a book titled something along the lines of the revenge plotted as a cat on the lap of a dragon or something dumb. The names are always absurd. But that one, spoilers, but the revenge is solved within the first book, maybe the first 2 books at most. Like, the premise upon which, like, the title is inaccurate. It is outright meaningless. The book itself is fine. Like, the story's interesting and whatever. It's not exceptional, but it's pretty mediocre. It very much falls into heavily tropey romance type. This individual has fallen in love with this person literally the first time they saw him. It's sort of lame, but it mostly doesn't try to spin it off as like anything actually serious. But that then gets to the whole, one of the premises of the story leans on like, it leans heavily into the, I don't know, possessive guy type of story, because the female main character, gets with the male main character who is from a race of people who are dragons, but like obviously will not stagger and they die. Oh, lucky. But it's like established that they're inhumanly jealous and protective, and it's kind of to the extent where even one of the characters in the story like stresses like making it so that their wife can't even see other men, and it's portrayed as a positive, sort of. They do touch on the fact that it is kind of awful. So it's not too blunt, like it doesn't. Let's just try to greed, because I want to refresh this, and then she's gonna not jump. Greed. Bad greed. It worked out fine, but that was far too risky. So that's a fine attack to go for, but gotta keep it distance. Don't go. Actually, you know what? Stop jumping at me. That takes way too long to ever use mid-combat. Holy. think I can waste a flask to get to full for more damage. If she doesn't hop too much. No waterfowl dance, please. Please no waterfowl. Okay, I could have hit her there, but that tell is less obvious. This is not bad. As long as I dodge it properly. Okay, this is timed well. Okay. Read. Run. Just run. Okay, bad play. Greedy. Okay. Unpunished. Okay. I should have gone for that, but too late. Read. Don't punish. Good. Good. Okay, I think her... If she would go down, and I could critical, that would be great. Okay, good, good, good. Okay. I rolled wrong, and I lost. I would have killed her if I had dodged, but I messed up. Oh, that was such good luck too, because she didn't waterfowl that second phase. Actually, I think the issue is that I was rolling directly away, and I'm not good at the timing for that, instead of rolling when running kind of sideways. But that was a good attempt. What I should maybe do is use Blessing of the Erd Tree to now that I actually have like an explicit benefit to staying at full HP instead of just to not die. But as I fight, topic that I could talk about is just generic light novel genres and how some of them have like the genres that have gone and changed over time. Like I think one of the genres that I think has seen the most interesting change is the sort of generic otome game. I messed up, I need to heal genre, which frequently is like most focus on, you know, reincarnated as a villainess, etc., etc. And they say, like the current most common one I think is reincarnated as a villainess, but I actually want to pretend that I'm a villainess so that whatever, like, oh, so that I can live as a commoner or live not having to get married to a prince. See, that's actually a lot better, not printing. Go for the jump. Okay, let's see if I can greed. Okay, nope, I'm gonna die. Oh, thank God she didn't dash at me. Okay, thought I was out of range. That was being bad. Tilted, tilted, I need to heal. You know what, let's just heal. Get more damage next time. No! Okay, I didn't get hit. That's good. I don't think this can combo to anything else. That would be an unfortunate time to learn that it can combo. Agreed. Okay, I need to get to her other side. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to run straight away. So lucky. I wish she'd gone for the jump. Agreed. Okay, I didn't run out of stamina. Glad I didn't go for an attack there, because otherwise I would have died. Okay, no, I could have gone around her, but... Okay, I need to keep a large runway. Okay, this is good RNG. That's like the third time she did that. I don't know how to dodge that if I get hit by the first. There's probably a chance to roll, but then I have to roll in between the petals. I don't know why I'm bad at dodging that second attack. I can dodge the first one, starting phase 2, fairly consistently, but no chance on that second one. But it is what it is. But I'm fairly consistently getting the second phase, which is nice. And it's also because I'm getting lucky with the waterfowl dance, and she's just not doing it as much sometimes. Agreed. Good luck. Agreed. Okay, good luck. And I got bad luck. See, the fact that it's actually better to just sort of stand beside her for that second one makes me uncomfortable. Agreed. Good luck, though. Okay, I hate that attack. I need her to stagger soon, otherwise this will be a pain. Okay, this is a decent chance I might stagger her here. I don't think I will, but decent chance. Ooh, good chain. Except waterfowl. Ugh. I hate when I get her 4 times in fairly rapid succession and it doesn't cause her to stumble. That's frustrating. I wish it didn't do it quite that way, but it's probably relatively balanced. Oh, I hate that. The fact that that jump buffered through the slide from the sprint is one of the things about how inputs are buffered in this game that really bugs me. Okay. Okay, too greedy. That heal is very bad. Okay. That was risky. Good. Bolted. What was I talking about? I was talking about that white cat on lap. And then that got me thinking about, oh yeah, I was thinking about how everyone that sees them knows about the crazy titles that light novels have, because they're just descriptive text and honestly are basically just a blurb. Ugh. They really just aren't good titles. Not that I'd be better at writing titles, but though after a certain point it is sort of a running gag. There's definitely some that lean into it. But like, even as a gag, once the title reaches the length of a paragraph, oh god, that's not a good sign for a story. If the title is a full paragraph in length. I bet I could just run from that attack. Not that attack is annoying to dodge, but I hate that attack. It is by far the worst. And it is frustrating to me. What I should do is, without it being recorded, listen to relaxing music or something. But that won't really solve my issue, and it will lead to me humming or whistling as it goes, so I won't do that. Ugh. Okay, I need good RNG. But actually, back on the topic of light novel and web novel titles from Japan, it's surprising the number that have some of the most generic titles in existence, yet are somehow decent to pretty good. Like, it makes it much more difficult to look for new stuff to read when you can't count on the bad title being an indicator. Because some have the most generic title, most generic sounding title in existence, but the actual contents of the story are pretty good by, light novel standards. This frustrates me, because this was a quick combo, but sometimes it doesn't occur that fast, and she should have died there. I am tilted beyond belief that she did not die. She should have died because I hit her with 2 weapons when she was at 0 HP. Okay, at least she died there and didn't randomly phase. Okay, if I don't run, it is actually a little bit better not run there. It might be more efficient to not instantly use the FP flask there, huh? Because using the rune arc really restores a lot. Okay. Potential. Dodge, dodge. Okay. Just keep distance so that waterfowl can't just ruin me. That's the most threatening attack, honestly. Okay, that's a good one. Like, until I find out that she can combo that with something else, and she just hasn't been, that's probably the best attack to capitalize on. I need to get around her. Okay, I didn't know she had a sideways slash attack for that follow-up. That's interesting. Okay, run away. Greed. Terrible greed. wish she would stagger. Gonna have to turn around. Hey. Bad luck. I didn't swap my flask.
By the scarlet.
Oh, I didn't swap my flask and I didn't even need it then before that. Oh, that was such a bad play. Oh, just a terrible play. Other than that terrible play, that was not going terribly. Let's just try this. One with the full setup, using... I don't know if it's the best choice. I don't know what the best choice is. I guarantee there's ones that I could find elsewhere that would be better. Like, I mean, I definitely could find the upgraded Dragon's Crest, but let's go with more HP. I know I'm not full HP, that's actually like objectively very bad. That's gonna mess with the flow. I'm not gonna have the same 3 uses worth of FP. Tilted. Try me. I'm gonna die. Yeah, the fact that what seems like I die and I get hit when I shouldn't because I messed up. Maybe I should consider the health regen talisman to keep me topped up. That might be worthwhile actually. Just for the chip damage bits that I don't need to waste. Although I'm not really running out of Estus, I'm just dying because I'm bad. Freed and staggered. Nah, it's wasting Estus, who cares? That was actually objectively bad because at that range it's probably worth more. The hope that I can stagger her soon and then just heal from Taker's Flame. And I'm gonna die. I mean, I might actually run out of flasks this time, which is fun. You know what? Let's try it. Oh, I don't know where I keep it because I always just had it equipped at all times. I don't even remember what it looks like. There it is. It might be worthwhile. Probably not because it's such a slow heal. Terrible play. I honestly feel like I should just die to her here. And then I'm gonna hit her, and she's not gonna die, despite being at 0 HP. Okay, I meant to push. Okay, heal. Just stop dashing. Stop dashing. Ugh, just... And I die because Waterfowl Blade after a combo. I hate it.
Scarlet rot.
It's so frustrating. I'm not going to keep that regen equipped because it's way too slow to be useful. But let's just do this for a couple. I'll use one more. And then this will be my last attempt for today. If I clear it, I clear it. If I don't, I don't. Because I am starting to get tilted. And that will simply result in playing worse. Still greed, because it's way more fun, but... Bad play, I hate that. See? You know, regression. It might be worth using Blessing of the Erd Tree just outside, and then instantly using a Rune Art to restore FP, allowing for multiple Taker's Flames while having some regen available to keep me topped up without just drinking from a flask every time I get hit. Okay, this is good. And back off because Waterfowl. Probably. Just attack. But okay, this should be good. And I'm gonna get ruined because Waterfowl Dance just before I would have gotten to the next phase. And I'm bad, so I couldn't kill her. And that's where I'm stopping for today. Because I have nothing structured to talk about. Exceedingly tilted. Though, I mean, I could be more tilted, it wouldn't be difficult, but for now I'm more tilted than I want to be. So, here's where I stop for today. Goodbye to anyone. Have a nice day, night, morning, whatever.